Shortly after the recent mass shootings at an Oregon community college, the press asked Dr. Ben Carson if he would declare himself a Christian if asked that question by a gunman. Carson answered that he would not just stand there and let himself be shot. He suggested that the potential victims would outnumber one shooter, and that if they rushed the shooter, some would probably be lost, but a very larger tragedy would be avoided by subduing the gunman. The aftermath of that statement has been gobs of negative talk from the pitiful excuse for a press corps that gives us the news through various media outlets. The agenda-driven commentators jump at any possible chance to put Carson, or any other conservative candidate for that matter, in a bad light. I've seen remarks from the mainstream media describing Carson's comments as insensitive or offensive. Some critics have pointed out that Carson was probably just avoiding the question of whether or not he would declare himself a Christian. Well, setting aside the prejudices of the mainstream media toward all things that do not glorify their leftist causes, I can see how Carson's answer would upset them. You see, it wasn't a cookie-cutter answer. It wasn't just a simple talking point. The press likes talking points. It's what they look for from their heroes on the left. Talking points don't require much thought or analysis. They either fit the party line or they don't. Talking points seem to make up the bulk of what we see on the front page or the evening news. That is when the topic turns away for a moment from the latest on the Kardashians. You see, a professional journalist would investigate the thinking that went behind the out-of-the-box statement, such as the one Carson made. Perhaps they could actually make a connection between that type of thinking and the thinking that prevented United Flight 93 from making it all the way to Washington, D.C. on the 9/11 terror attacks. What we see instead are smirking propagandists doing their very best to villainize Dr. Carson. A liberal correspondent would want to investigate. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be many liberals left in the mainstream media. In fact, my point is that true liberals in general should be placed on the endangered species list. You see, a liberal is someone who is open to ideas. A liberal is someone who will investigate a wide range of opinions, a wide range of beliefs, set aside their own mindset to explore and scrutinize as many options as possible so they can make a thoughtful decision on their actions. Does this sound like what we're getting from our mainstream press? I think not. We get thrown at us daily slanted, prejudiced reporting that would make the old Soviet news agencies of Pravda and TASS envious. And it isn't just the media where so-called liberals are not behaving like liberals. Frequently, I make attempts to open up conversations with lefties. I'd love to open up an exchange of ideas in a civil discussion. It's my belief that we have common problems facing us that need solutions. It is my belief that we must work together to find those solutions. I'm appalled with the radical left wing's constant attempt to divide and conquer us. I'm disgusted with the radical leftists in power right now who are using deceit to advance any agenda that they cannot simply mandate. Most importantly, I'm confused and sickened by the fact that so many Americans are simply following these elitist would-be autocrats like sheep. This mindless compliance is not the action of a liberal. The lack of open-mindedness, the simple parroting of talking points is more the action of someone suffering from cult brainwashing. In my experience, or it is my experience, that few lefties have any ability left to defend their beliefs with much beyond the Ministry of Truth talking points. They can make no in-depth defense of their positions, and when pushed to do so, They become belligerent and resort to name-calling and personal attacks. If any self-proclaimed liberals are still watching this, email me. Let's open up a dialogue on your favorite topic. Let me do my best to engage you in a civil debate. Let me help you understand that if I'm against gun control, it doesn't mean that I approve of mass shootings. If I'm skeptical of global climate change claims, it doesn't mean that I want to trash the environment. If I'm against gay marriage, it doesn't mean that I want to persecute gays. If I support the police and their duty to take action against criminals, it doesn't make me a racist. If I'm a conservative, it doesn't mean that I lack compassion for those less fortunate than me. You pick the topic. It may shock you that we both have the same hopes and dreams. We just see different paths that will get us there. Let's exchange our views, our fears, our opinions, our beliefs. It strikes me that that's a very liberal offer. It reflects the open-mindedness, the liberal that is still left in me from my youth. I also suspect that there's no lefties still watching this video. They've already made their mind up. Perhaps if you truly are a liberal, you may still be with me. Again, my point is that true liberals are an endangered species. The liberal cause has been hijacked. The radical progressive leftists now governing us, and any true liberal that's still left out there, they're an ugly form of despotism. They're not interested in a two-party system. They manipulate and divide the populace, the proletariat if you wish, to achieve their real goal, to be glorified as godlike leaders. They're inflicted with the same disease of conceit and vanity that history shows us infected Caesar and Napoleon, Hitler, Mao, Stalin, any other tyrant, large or small, that you can name. If you think of yourself as a liberal, come to your senses. Your cause is a noble one. Liberals and conservatives can and should exist in a symbiotic relationship. Consider the axiom that goes back to Aesop and was paraphrased by Lincoln during the Civil War. United we stand, divided we fall. Key word here is we. Thanks for watching. See you again next time.